But of course, there's been operations happening consistently. This is part of the Shifa operation. And this is a fighter looking in the ruins around Shifa Hospital. And you're going to watch, if you look in the center of the screen here, you're going to watch a fighter pop up out of the rubble here in his hoodie. Directly, again, we're seeing another footage of directly staring down the tank barrel, but using the ruins to fight outside the hospital, not inside the hospital. And they point that out in this video. The voiceover in this video addresses the IDF chief of staff and says, the Islamic Jihad voiceover says, we are out here on the battlefield. We're not inside. And this video, I mean, the videos, if you remember back from a couple weeks ago's show, there was videos of literally dozens of armored vehicles being hit on the outside of Shifa, of the brutal raid, unspeakable atrocities carried out at Shifa Hospital, but resistance in the neighborhoods around it. And Israel erased that neighborhood, 1,050 houses, homes destroyed and burned. And of course, as Nora pointed out, more than 400 bodies recovered from the burned out ruins that Israel left here at Shifa Hospital. I just want to note one thing about this is that after the Shifa Hospital raid, Yoav Gallant, the Israeli defense minister, he met with the commanders of the Southern Command, the generals responsible for the war in Gaza. And he said that he came out of that meeting, and his message out of that meeting was that Shifa is an example of the type of operations that Israel intends to carry out in this next stage of the war, as they call it, indicating that they believe that they can dictate which stages of the war that they're in, but that they're actually proud of this Shifa operation. They're militarily proud. Their military leadership, their generals, they sit for photo ops and brag, and they did all through the Shifa operation, that this is a model for the way that they want to fight these wars. We remember back in November during the first Shifa hospital raid, it was an avalanche of lies that we had to deal with about whether there's command centers and tunnels and whether Yahya Sinwar was going to come up from the tunnels and surrender like Seymour Hersh said that he was going to do. All of that stuff is gone. All of that pretense is gone for this Shifa massacre. And now the Israelis are proud of this second Shifa operation that is just an appalling war crime that will be one of the, if not the first, of the war crimes trials that Israel will attempt to avoid, but will surely this kind of information. Israel has left such a digital fingerprint on all these operations that they believe that there's impunity lasting indefinitely, and they're trusting that. I don't believe that's going to be the case, but we'll see how the future unfolds. So, Tamara, can we go to number 3 after this one? So this is an operation. This is the first ghillie suit. This is a ghillie suit sniper team. A ghillie suit is a camouflage suit that the snipers wear to blend into the landscape so that they can stay in a dangerous position. This is in the buffer zone. We're looking at an anti-materiel sniper rifle here, like the Al-Ghul. It's an Iranian Saeed 50 cal. It's similar to the Al-Ghul, couple Al-Ghul differences, but we see the spotter. We see the spotter working. We see the sniper working in teams here in the foliage. They're in camouflaged in the foliage. And to get into this sniper position, this is east of Gaza City. So this is probably east of 𝐓𝐡𝐞 around the border area. This is Israel operating in the buffer zone, which is something that if they intend to stay in the buffer zone, these are the kind of attacks that we'll see. But in Khan Yunis, they don't appear to be staying in the buffer zone. They appear to leave right through the fence in the south. So it's unclear if they're going to stay in these buffer zones. They have left troops along that Netzarim corridor that we've also described on previous shows, which is the corridor that divides the north from the south and is the way that Israel is intending to split the Gaza Strip and prevent people from going. They have, since the beginning of the war, prevented people from going back to their homes. And we speculated that the American pier may connect to that corridor. The Israelis have withdrawn from all of Gaza except for one brigade that they have along that corridor. And the resistance reports that we've gotten are that as soon as that happened, that corridor has been under constant attack. And also worth noting about the Khan Yunis operation, when the Israelis left Khan Yunis, minutes after they left, their Iron Dome air defense system was knocking down rockets fired from Khan Yunis. And they also left the Middle Camps area, and rockets were fired from the Middle Camps area. As a signal, that's message sending from the Palestinians more than it is an attempt at military efficacy, just a proof that Israel's not able to accomplish even its most elementary goals, which is to stop rocket fire on the communities that are evacuated. Israel's communities in the south are still evacuated. People have not gone back to their homes. They're living in hotels, and they're promising in these interviews from the hotels that they're not going to go back to these communities until the rocket fire stops. The presumption was that this genocide would have an impact on that rocket fire, as well as on the military organizations. And of course, neither is true. Because the rockets aren't actually fired by the Qassam brigades in these cases. They're fired by the smaller groups. Israel hasn't even been able to dent the rocket units of the smaller guerrilla factions in Gaza, let alone the apparatus of the Qassam brigades, which links its rocket firing positions to tunnel positions. So important to just point that out there.
Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit like, leave a comment. These engagements help us with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps us to get around Silicon Valley censorship as much as possible. It does make a difference. You can also support our journalism by going to electronicintifada.net and clicking on donate now. Thank you.